Well, ILM stands for Instituto Latinoamericano de la Mujer Musulmana, which it means Latin American Institute for the Muslim Women. ILM is an online Quran school where we teach Spanish-speaking women and children from all over the world how to read Quran in the Arabic language. And we also teach, I would say, like basics of Islam, but not so basic. Well, by that I mean that in a lot of Latin American countries, all that people are taught are the basics of Islam, like the very, very basics, such as just the 5 pillars of Islam. And a lot of people don't have access to learning more about their deen in their own language. And so there's very basic things that we find here in the United States to be easy to learn about, such as tazkiyah and hadith and aqidah and things like that they're not as easily accessible in the Spanish language because of multiple reasons. We don't have that many books translated into Spanish. Some communities don't have people that have actually studied Islam. So there's a whole lot of reasons why that happens. But what we try to do in ILM is teach things that maybe for us here in the United States are very basic about Islam, but that they are not that basic in Latin America, that not everybody knows about in Latin America. Alhamdulillah, the Institute opened its virtual doors about 3 years ago. And mashallah, since then we have taught how to read Quran to over 300 women and children. And we have, mashallah, a very large group of students. Yes, all of our students are women in the adult school. In the madrasa, which is the children's school, we take boys and girls. For the adult classes, we offer 3 levels of Quran reading, starting from the alphabet, alif, ba, ta, tha, and going into tashweed rules, very basic tashweed rules like the gunnas, the mad, the mudud, waqf rules, the shamsiya, qamariya letters, very, very basic rules. And also we have the different tilawa levels. Yes, we teach the Hafs and Asim recitation. Teachers are not native Spanish speakers, and they are also all certified to teach the Quran. All of the Islamic studies classes are taught by me. I am the founder and also one of the teachers at the school. I hold a bachelor's in Islamic studies. I also have a certificate as an adult educator from Harvard University, and I have a certificate as Muallim fil Tarbiyya al-Islamiyya, which is an Islamic studies teacher. And I am currently doing the studies to graduate as a Murshida in the Islamic University in Spain, Al-Andalusia. I also have the certificate as a Qaida Nuraniya teacher and a Qurtubi. The Madrasa, it's a program that we started, about 2 years ago now, alhamdulillah. And it was due to our own students asking us if we had something where their kids could start learning how to read Quran and learning about Islam. So we started the madrasa. Our first trimester, I think we had like maybe 7 kids. And mashallah, it has grown a lot. There is a lot of demand for this program. Currently, we have almost 30 kids enrolled in the madrasa. And personally, I would prefer that we only have 20. We had put a limit of 20 kids, but we have close to 30 this semester. And the reason for that is the high demand that it has. We have so many parents reaching out to us and telling us that they live in places too far away from masjids, that are too far away from a masajid or from the Muslim community, and that this is the only online program that they have found in the Spanish language. So it's hard to say no, and we keep accepting them, but it is really hard sometimes to manage 30 kids that go from the ages. Our youngest student is about 4 years old, and our oldest student is almost 14. So imagine having that wide range of students for 2 hours every Saturday, learning Islam and Quran, it gets a little bit tricky. So for the madrasa, we have a total of 3 teachers. We have our Islamic studies teacher, and we have 2 Quran teachers. And we do divide by ages. So we have kind of like one group is from 4 to 8 years old, and the other group is from 9 to 14. So we do try to divide by ages, although the range is very big. We will ideally like to have possibly more teachers to be able to divide the groups into ages that are more close to each other, and also to be able to accept more students, and also to be able to manage them better. Yes, so some interesting stories that I have heard. So just this past week we were in the madrasa, and I was asking some of my students that what are some traditions that your families do during the month of Ramadan. And you know, one kid told me that they go to the masjid. And I thought, just like here in the United States, most families go together as a family to the masjid at night after the iftar for Taraweeh. So I thought that, okay, that's probably what she's doing. So I said, oh, that's a beautiful tradition. So are you gonna go tonight for Taraweeh? And this girl, she said, no, I'm gonna go on Wednesday. So I said, what do you mean? It was a Saturday. So I said, what do you mean? You're just gonna go on Wednesday? You don't go every night? And she said, no, I cannot go every night because the masjid is 13 hours away from our house. So they go on Wednesday morning, they spend the night there, and then they come back on Thursday back home. So sometimes we take these things for granted where we live, and we think that everybody has access to a Muslim community and everybody has access to having their kids become friends with other Muslims. But in Latin America, it's very clear that that is not the case for everyone. Something beautiful that happens in our madrasa every week is that some of our kids have been studying together for over a year, and they have become very close friends. And sometimes when we finish the classes, they ask us if we can leave the platform open a little bit longer so that they can chat with each other, they can talk with each other. And they talk about video games, and they share their their handles to play Minecraft or something like that together, and they have become friends. They have created these friendships, although they are in completely different countries. We have a high request to start a youth program, okay, which will be for kids between 12 and probably 16. Ideally we would like the madrasa to reach only till 12 years old, and then have a youth program that goes from 13 to 16 years old. However, we do not count with the resources to do that. We have a large waiting list of kids and families that are waiting for us to start these programs. But to do this, we need the funds, We need to be able to pay the teachers their salaries. Yes. So although we have a lot of students, most of our students, as I said, they're based in Latin America. And the salaries in Latin America are not comparable to the salaries in the United States or in Spain, where a lot of our teachers live. So what they're able to pay is not enough to be able to pay the salaries of our teachers. And not only that, not all of our students are able to pay at all. Okay, so we have about 90% of our students from the adult school and the madrasa that study with scholarships. So we highly depend on the donations of people. We highly depend on, the generosity of people to be able to produce and to provide this service for the children and the women in Latin America. It is not an easy job because it is not just a matter of coming, sitting, and teaching a class. We have to produce all of our material. There is nothing in the Spanish language for the madrasa. For the adult classes, we still find some things. We have to translate a lot of material, but we still find some resources. For the children's classes, there are no resources. There are no curriculums that have already, been tried out and produced and used in multiple countries. There are no books, and even when we try to, have the books and make it accessible for the kids, it is really hard because the mail in all of these countries does not work. So when we try to send the books to them, they get lost in the way. And sometimes it may take 2 to 3 months to get there. Sometimes the class finish and that's when they get the book. So what we do at Madrasa Ilm is that we produce our own material. We produce our own books. We made them in a PDF form, and we share it for free with all of the families so that they can print it. You know, we share it with them at the beginning of the course, and then they can print it back home and they can use that for their kids to take the classes. We also give this material for free in our website so that other madrasas all over Latin America can use this material to teach Islam to their kids. However, this again takes a cost. We have to pay the people who are making these books. We have to pay the platforms that we use to make these books. And you know, all of this just adds up to the cost of the institute. So both in our madrasa and our adult school, we have a large group of students from Colombia and Mexico and Argentina. Those are and Spain. Those are the 4 countries where we have the most amount of students. However, we also have students from Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Ecuador. We have from Panama, from El Salvador, and Puerto Rico, and we have some students from Cuba. We have a very large group, you know, of employees. We have 2 administrators, we have 1 social media director, and we have 5 teachers in the school.
Do you know what Islam says? It says that life's the greatest test. It says that life's a borrowed space, returned upon rest. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
Me llamo Adira Topaz y hoy vamos a hablar sobre el viaje en octubre. Él y se encontraba muy triste porque su esposa y su tío murió.